Hey, Joe here from Home Studio Corner. If you mix drums, you need to pay attention to this. It's easy for all of us to fall into this trap, and it can really suck the life out of your drum. So maybe you're just coming off of a big YouTube binge, and you've seen a lot of folks using a lot of compression on their drums. So I've got a drum loop here. This is just a basic easy drummer loop that I'm using as kind of the bed to work up some scratch tracks for a song. But it sounds pretty good. Just a real simple loop. Here it is. Now, what a lot of folks want to do is they want to compress that, and rightly so. I love to compress the entire kit first and then go compress the individual pieces. It's wonderful. But a lot of times, if you're not careful, you'll start dialing in a nice amount of compression, let's say a 4-to-1 ratio, bring the threshold down. Let's just dial something in here. Okay, we've made it quieter, so now we're going to increase the makeup gain to get it back to the volume it was before. And we think to ourselves, hot dog, we did it just like Dave Pinsato. We got a nice, squished, compressed, roomy drum sound. Let's go back to the mix. And we go and mix bass and guitars and vocals and everything else. And we get towards the end of the mix of everything else, and we listen back to the drums and say, dang, I can't hear them anymore. So we go try to turn them up, and that's not it. So we go compress them more, and that's not it. The problem, and you probably already noticed, is this sucker right here. Oh, goodness, it's right. I lost it. This sucker, oh no, right, right here, the attack knob. If you are compressing drums, especially your entire drum bus, if you are using something with a fast attack time, that can sometimes work. But if you're going for what we saw here, a good, 8 to 12 dB of gain reduction, which can be really cool sometimes, you got to make sure you're not giving it this super fast attack time and killing any punch from coming through. Let's just compare the compressed to the uncompressed real quick. Listen to how much punchier the kick and the snare are when we turn the compressor off. The compressed version is a little louder sounding because it is heavily compressed, but listen to the way the snare was really coming out of the speakers. And now it's being squashed beyond recognition. Now, one option is to use your mix knob or do some sort of parallel compression. I don't do that a lot, honestly. All you need to do is dial back the attack. So let some of the transients back through, not all of them, but just some of them, and bring it up to maybe 30 milliseconds. And you'll find it's compressing less because it's a slower attack time. Adjust the threshold accordingly. You can have the same amount of compression, but suddenly it sounds way better because you've allowed it to have a little bit lower attack time, a little bit slower attack time. Here we go. Okay, now we've made it louder. Now let's compress a little more and turn some of the volume down to get it balanced again. Okay, we're compressing the same amount. That thing said 8 dB earlier. It's going as high as 10 to 12 dB of compression. But listen to how this sounds. We've got more punch. We've got that original attack of the drum with all the extra goodness that happens from compressing the drums. Now, as a final thing to listen to what happens if I pull the attack back down. We'll get more compression, but we won't hear the initial attack of the drums anymore. It's the equivalent. It sounds like we turned the spot mics down and turned the room mics up. It was just, you saw it. You saw it here, no tricks. I was just turning down the attack time, and you can see how dramatically that affects the tone. Which means you can probably spend a lot of time going anywhere between 100 milliseconds down to 1 millisecond and checking out all the different variations of tone that are available, especially on drums, by just adjusting the attack setting. Now, this is kind of very, very niche topic, but it's good for all of us to remember that sometimes fast attack times can be amazing. Sometimes they can kick us in the rear end. If you haven't checked out my 5-step mix guide, it is fantastic. If you feel like your mixes are kind of aimless and you're just kind of tweaking knobs for a few hours and then hoping you're done, you need to read my 5-step mix guide. Check it out at 5stepmix.com. It's a free download, a quick read, and you'll be getting better mixes as a result, I promise. All right, that's it for me. Later.